Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to 𝗥𝗵𝗲 show. Thank you so much for tuning in, and you're always here to listen, learn, and grow. And Ria and I, we're always going to share information so that it really helps you in your life and your journey. And for most of you who do not know what the show is about, the show is about real estate and mindset. And Ria, she talks about real estate, and I talk about from the mindset perspective. So between her and I, we bridge the gap between for you to succeed in life. And so today, Ria, she's going to be taking over the conversation. But before she does, I want to welcome each and every one of you for always tuning in, but for the new ones, thank you for tuning in. And so my name is Alka.
My name is Ria.
And welcome to our show. Ria, I'm going to pass the mic to you.
Thank you, Alka. The topic is a continuation from the book of Robert Kiyosaki, Increase Our Financial IQ, and we're going to talk about diversification or not to diversify. So let me share my screen. All right. So before we start with our topic on the diversification aspect, this don't live below your means from the book of Robert Kiyosaki. I want to deal with this before we head on to the diversification. So according to Robert Kiyosaki, financial experts, they advise people to live below our means and to diversify. So this is financial experts. To many people, this sounds like a smart advice. The key word is to many people. Third, the problem with following this advice is that we wind up average. Average because it is an average advice. So it is for the masses. According to Robert, it is not a bad advice. It's just average financial advice. It's an average financial advice. Besides, who wants to live below their means? Certainly, I do not want to live below my means, and I don't want an average financial advice. But like the book says, for many, this is okay, right? To live below your means and to have an average financial advice. So my question is, do you want to be part of the many, or do you want to be part of the few? The road less traveled. According to Robert Kiyosaki in the book, in high school, students begin focusing on their academic strengths and taking courses with an eye towards high-paying future careers. So this is a W-2, and they're high-paid. So from what I know of, high-paid W-2 employees are, a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, or a CPA, and there's so many others, but I'm just going to tackle on this. But there's a lot of W-2 employees, which are high-paying. You could be an engineer, a tech in Silicon Valley, and be high-paid. Kids are constantly pushed to be smart, to study hard, and get good grades. Now, after graduating from college, many go on to graduate school, narrowing the career choices to become either lawyers, doctors, accountants, and MBA. Many doctors, after years of grueling medical school, go on for additional training to become specialists, such as if they want to be surgeons or internists. Now, if you want to do a a specialty on surgery, for example, plastic, right? Then that's additional more years of training. So even though you're done with the medical school and you're done with your training for surgery, if you want to do plastic surgery, then that's additional of training. Likewise, artistic students become artists in clay, oils, watercolors, commercial graphics, and music. Gifted student athletes prepare for professional careers, either in football, tennis, basketball, or golf. In fact, if you go to athletic events, many parents scream for blood, demanding their kids play and their team wins. Nobody wants to play on average team. Most of us know that to be successful in school and to have successful careers, we need to do our best and we need to be the best. Therefore, we need to focus, we need to study, and we need to specialize. Focus, study, and specialize. And this is in school. Yet, Robert says when it comes to money, when it comes to finance, people are advised to diversify instead of specialize. So we are told we need to diversify. When in contrary, in school, right, we need to focus, study, and specialize. And Robert is asking, why is this so? We are also advised not only to diversify, but to live below our means. Instead, rather, live at the higher standard of living. When Robert got out of the Marine Corps, Robert did not want to get an average job and live below his means. Yet, to Robert, living below our means or his means is how below average people live. Robert did not want to drive an average car, or live in an average neighborhood. Robert knew that diversifying would cause his ROI, which means a return on investment, to be below average. Let us sink in. So diversifying would cause Robert's ROI or return of investment to be below average. So what I learned is that just like in school, if they want us to be the best of what we can be, we need to focus, we need to study, and we gotta specialize, not diversify, but specialize to do our best and to be the best of what we can be. So Robert knew he needed to focus if he wanted a higher standard of living. When Robert looked at the world, Robert was about to re-enter after 4 years of military school and after 5 years in the Marines. Robert noticed that most people work hard to be above professionally. So professionally, they want to be above. Now, when it comes to finance, Robert noticed it was the opposite. It was the reverse. So Robert noticed that when it comes financially, a lot of people, they're okay with below average, but professionally, they want to be above. So what we have to understand is that, yes, we got to be above professionally, but we also need to be above financially. Robert decided that the best way to beat the A students, the rich kids, the teachers who label Robert average, and the girls who were not interested in Robert, was to become filthy rich. Robert was not angry with them. Robert was just tired of being average. Robert realized he could become richer than most people because when it comes to money, people were following below average financial strategies and financial advice. So let me know in the comment section below what your key takeaway is in today's topic, and stay tuned for the continuation of diversification on the next Alka and Ria show.
Yeah, Ria, you know, they do say when you're building wealth, you gotta live beneath your means, because that's the only way that you're gonna get rich. And to build your wealth is to track your spending, is to manage your money, and just be mindful as to, you know, what your habits are. So it all starts with the habits, and yeah, living beneath your means in the beginning has got to be there.
Yes, that is correct. So like I said, this is true for most people, right? It works for the average. But what Robert was pointing is, if you want to go against where the flow of where the majority are leading, if you want to be different, the advice for the many does not apply to you if that is your route. Just like the advice of the many to live below your means and to follow what the financial advisors would, provide you, is that it works for majority, many of the people, but it doesn't work for the few. So Robert is, multi-millionaire, right? His net worth, I don't know exactly what his net worth, but it's more than 100 million. So if you want to be a part of the few, is you should not follow what the advices of a lot, which is applicable to many people. So one is diversification, which is true for majority of the people. So what is the opposite of that is to specialize. So if you want to follow the path of the multi-millionaire, right? So you need to specialize. Second, a lot of the wealthy people do not want to live below their means. They, live lavish lifestyle. So in the beginning, if you're starting out, then yes, you got to decrease the expense. You got to live below your means. But we have to understand that we can only lower so much of our expense, right? We always have a fixed cost for housing. We have a fixed cost for electric or utilities.
That means earn more. That means you would have to earn more then, because I know, yeah,
right.
You've got the cost of living is gone up, so you would have to earn more.
That is correct. So the income can go as high as much as we want to. The sky is the limit on the income part, if we know how to solve the problem, right? But the expense, you can only bring it down. So at the start, just like what the book says, it works for many of the people. It works for majority of the people, right? The advice to diversify and live below our means. But like I said, if you want to be different, if you want to follow the few, then you got to focus, you got to study, you got to specialize. And then when you start racking up that income, then certainly you can live above, the means, not just below the means, but now you can live the way, higher standard of living, the way that you want to live.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because the way you want to, because then you've accumulated enough. You've got the tools as to what you need to do, and then now you're creating the wealth. So yeah, definitely. Then it's up to you as to then how you're spending, where you're spending.
Now look at this. Our mentor Grant Cardone lives extravagantly, right? The way we looked at it, but in the back, if you are not a business-minded person, you would not know it. You'd say, you'd judge easily. Oh, he's so lavish. He says plane, he has a yacht, he has all this, buildings, he has all these apartments. Now, contrast that, if you have a business experience, you'll say, Grant is so smart. He's living a luxurious lifestyle, but all those are intertwined with his business. So that makes him very smart. That makes him so focused, and that makes him specialized. Now, why I say he's smart? Because yes, he has a yacht. Yes, he has an airplane, But don't you know those are tax deductible from his business? Because he incorporated his life with his business, that we see that, oh, his drive, his going on yacht on different, different towns or different countries, and he's using his plane to go to Middle East or Asia. But it's a link with a business purpose. When he goes to those places, for example, he does a tour on that nice Caribbean thing, he invites people, his business friends, or you would pay, right? You would pay a fee to aboard his yacht, and then they hold mastermind or courses such as real estate, or they could be partners where they're doing business meeting. So his business and his life are intermixed now, intertwined, that we see Grant, if we don't know him, we see that he lives in a lavish lifestyle, but all those expenses are tax deductible. Those are business expenses. Those are not personal expenses. Those are business expenses. Why? Because there was a business purpose to using the yacht and to using the airplane. He would say, oh, I'm looking at, I'm using the airplane to go to a business meeting, or I'm using the airplane to look at properties, right? So it's our mindset, our knowledge, right? That if we are not business minded, we wouldn't know about these things. We think he's just so extravagantly living a luxurious life. But behind all of it is a master plan, right?
There's a plan, right?
Yes, we see him living luxuriously, and oh boy, it is nice, but he's solving a lot of problems in terms of housing, in terms of sales, in terms of a lot of things. So that's what we need to do. What I learned is we got to follow who the successful people are who, for example, Grant, right? How they become successful? If they're doing real estate and I want to do real estate, I just got to reverse engineer, solve my problem in my community, so that one day I could have a business car that I could tax write it off. And if my apartment business grow, then I could buy an airplane and have the airplane take me to those properties where that airplane can be a business expense.
That's right. So, well, I hope when you do get the plane, hope you invite me on your plane.
I'll have to go to Canada and buy properties, or look, I don't even have to buy, I just need to look at properties, right, in Canada, and that's a business expense.
Right, exactly. So exactly that. Yeah, no, your mindset, is how do you pre-frame your mindset so that you can, you can learn and then grow to the extent of growing your wealth, your portfolio. If you're creating a portfolio, what does that look like? And what do you need to do so that the wealthy, you become wealthy like Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone, Warren Buffett, etc., etc. But this is how they have done it. And all we need to do is just to master mimic what they are doing. So Ria, thank you so much. That was just really amazing. So guys, we can't wait for part 2 of what Ria's going to be sharing about, but we have come to the end of another amazing show. Thank you so much as always for tuning in, and we will see you at the same time, same place come tomorrow morning. And as always, whatever you learn, we want you to incorporate so that, it's always the method by what you listen, what you've heard, is to take and implement on today's session. So we will see you at the same time, same place, come tomorrow morning. Bye for now, guys.
Thank you,
Ria. Thanks.